Hello, everyone. We are excited to be with you here today talking about the future of bots, where we are currently in the landscape and the potential that bots have in conjunction with CRM, the power to transform our expectations in customer experiences. So thank you all for joining us today. All right. I am Heather Maffeo, sales specialist with Lagash. My background is in customer-oriented innovations. Through working with large corporations and startups, I have had the opportunity to be a part of very cool projects, and I am excited about the shift in technology, like, for example, bots that is providing towards improved customer experiences. I'm going to pass over to Andres.
Hello, everyone. Nice to have you all here. My name is Andres Vettori. I am an enterprise architect with more than 25 years of experience development and software architecture and design. Mostly focus on very complex and mission-critical applications using Microsoft technology and platform tools, and in the latest years also including some other open source technologies from the market. So I'm here to help Heather to talk about some of the implementation details of the technology and the use case scenarios that we are going to show. So you have here my contact information. Feel free to reach for any questions.
Great, thanks, Andres. All right, prior to diving into chatbots and CRM, I wanted to give you all a brief background about us here at Lagash. We are a software development and services company that specializes in cloud technology projects. Our mission is to solve business problems, improve processes, and create new experiences through the development of cutting-edge web technologies like bots. We began in 2001, and since then have expanded into several countries, as you can see here: Mexico, Chile, Colombia, Uruguay. And then in the US, we are based in Seattle, the technology hub of the Pacific Northwest. So we're here today to discuss Intelligent CRM, the future of customer experience. Businesses are constantly searching for new and improved ways to serve clients and consumers, while also making use of current information and core processes, which is exactly what we'll be covering today. Through these elements, the value add that businesses can provide to customers is immeasurable. So here we're looking at customer experience trends. What do we know in today's world? We know that the importance of customer experience is overtaking brand and product consistency. The ability to switch from one brand to another has increasingly become easier and easier, which is why the customer experience that is provided is of the utmost importance. Continually maintaining and improving customer experience is what keeps your customers coming back for repeat products, repeat services. Through social media and mobile, customers have in their hand the ability to recognize and publish positive or negative experiences. Customers are in complete control, which is why the focus needs to be directly emphasized on them. Today, we all want the ability to control everything, and we want quick resolution. If we're having an issue, we don't care if we're speaking with a CEO or an intern about something. We really just want it figured out, and we don't want to have to work very hard to get a resolution. This is what is so exciting about bots and CRM. We can actually provide all of these elements. As an adult, we never get or expect to get everything we want, but now, with respect to how we work with businesses, we can. And we should expect to have a compelling customer experience. We should expect complete control and access to businesses, and we should expect quick resolutions thanks to the relationship of bots and CRM. So chatbots and CRM. If you feel like the concept behind chatbots has sort of snuck up on you, it has. Artificial intelligence has accelerated the development behind bot capabilities. That is why we are all talking about bots these days. How did this happen, you ask? Well, we can all say thank you to the big white cloud in the sky. Our processing power has significantly aided in these type of human interaction technologies. The development of artificial intelligence is replacing traditional solutions, utilizing new ways of understanding customer behavior and customer interactions. These all increase brand reputation and recognition, which results in increased sales and increased positive customer experiences. Most of you have already experienced it. Just last week, I was searching for Halloween costumes for my daughter on Amazon. And now whenever I go to Amazon, they're giving me purchase suggestions of Halloween candy, pumpkin carving kits, and on and on. The ability to know more about your customers is developing and increasing every single day. And it's really not just companies like Amazon. Digital transformation is revealing that even traditional businesses are moving to the internet. I scheduled my last haircut on my phone. It was quick, easy, and painless. Which brings me to even greater functionality. Mobile use. Mobile use allows us to have businesses in our pocket, digitally extending businesses' physical environment. Mobile gives the ability of augmented reality, using bots, the frontier of everything digital. Given the power of artificial intelligence, we have come to the point where technology and human interaction is more and more a part of our daily lives, which is why CRM is a key piece to this puzzle. CRM provides a consolidated view of us as in the customer. Leading me to my next slide, why CRM? Well, CRM is the mecca of information of everything and everyone. We have customer profiles that include information on customer preferences, location, gender. We also know about past communications and interactions with people. We know about products and services and information. Everything is stored in CRM. We can also use CRM as a customer support platform in which we can see information on any open cases, and on the customer end, we can create cases. CRM is the backbone of which holds all of the rich information that makes it possible for bots to be as intelligent as they are. Okay, so how can we use this technology? Here are 3 common usage scenarios: e-commerce, customer support, and pre-sales. Some of the things we can do with e-commerce are, as I mentioned before, the example with Amazon. You can search for suggestions and recommendations. You can browse and search product catalogs, compare similar products, and you can obviously do a visual search, but you can also perform a voice-powered search. With customer support, you can search for knowledge-based articles, create and follow up on cases, escalate and reroute issues, and also perform customer satisfaction evaluations. With pre-sales, you have the ability to observe customer behavior. And with that customer behavior, you can analyze and then customize offers specific to those customer behaviors. Your ability to create strong marketing strategies is greatly enhanced. You can also better develop and shorten the sales cycle by quicker and more customized customer experiences. Okay, so now we're actually going to get into a real life demo. This scenario will be a customer support issue that I'm having with my 3D printer, and I'm going to chat with my Lagash bot through Skype. All right, so here I'm going to chat with my Lagash CRM bot about some printer issues I've been having. Hi, bot. Yes, can you please give me information on my printer? My 3D printer, actually. Yes, I think I need to perform maintenance. Excellent. So here is step-by-step on how to perform maintenance on my 3D printer. So let's go back to my bot. Would I like to search again? Nope, I think I'm good. All right, so after performing that maintenance, I'm still having issues, so I need to chat with bot again. I think this time I need to submit an issue because it's still not working. 3D printer not working. Yep, it relates to 3D printer. This is pretty critical. I need to get some stuff done today. Any additional information? It stops mid-print. Great. So bot is submitting an issue right now. And I believe, oh, yep, here we go. So here is a case number for me to reference at a later date. So now I'm going to go into CRM on the business side and take a look at that where that ticket has been issued. So here we go. I'm going to refresh the cases page here. Obviously, I've had printer issue in the past. And there should be a case that was just created based off of the case I just submitted. Yep, exactly. Critical. Here you can see 3D printer is not working. You can see that I've created it, it's in progress, and now on the business end, they have the ability to contact me and help me figure this out as soon as possible because of the priority level. So this is just one example of a customer service oriented demo that you can do with bots. Like I mentioned before, there are several different possibilities with what you can do, whether it's pre-sales, customer service, etc. The future of bots is right here in the present. More and more people are going to be expecting that I want everything and I want it now customer experience that bots deliver. If a business can't provide that experience, customers are quick to move their business elsewhere. It's an interesting concept that we'll be seeing bots more and more, but it is even more exciting that bots are bringing businesses' focus back toward the customer, taking customer experiences to the next level. So let's, I'll end my portion there and then pass it over to you, Andres.
In general, concept of conversation as a platform, it is something it's probably going to change and revolutionize the way we communicate with programs, and of course, smart agents are the next wave of programs that we are going to they're going to allow this type of interactions. So the human language is the new UI, the bots or smart agents are the new applications, and intelligence is the enabler that makes all this possible. So the conversation as a platform paradigm has many advantages. So it is more natural and intuitive to communicate, to interact with programs and computers that using the keyboard. So the general idea is that we move from the interaction through commands and verbs and sentences that are highly structured to a more conversation way of communicating with the programs or the bots or the agents in this case. The gap that separates the humans from the programs or the agents is going to close in terms of communication, and we're going to focus on getting things done instead of thinking on how we need to communicate this idea or this need to an application or an agent. For this to happen, we need to have a strong focus on what information do we have available and in what context. So that information in that particular context is the main enabler that make this possible. Otherwise, the agent or the program might not have enough information to act. Of course, all things about security and privacy are even more critical than before. So attention about that is obviously very important and has to be uh, taken care and observed. And of course, all the technology behind artificial intelligence and machine learning and all those new uh, available services that we have available now to use. They are very simple to use and very easy to learn and very powerful. So that is pretty much what the cost that we are talking about this now, because the concept of agents, of more smart agents and bots have existed many years back, but now we have the power through AI to make all these really simple to implement and powerful and useful and really a useful tool to make to have results. Of course, productivity also is a big ingredient in all these smart interactions. So one will expect that having an agent that's considered smart is going to be acting proactively, not just waiting for me to ask for something, but also because the agent knows me and knows my behaviors and what I have done in the past. He might um, act proactively and reach to me to propose something that he knows that I am probably going to do or want at this particular moment. So we are talking about bots. A bot is an application. It's nothing else. And a bot is basically an application that allow us to implement this conversation as a platform idea. So they are intelligent agents that interact with people, with persons, using conversational dialogues. So bots converse with persons to make things done, to have things done. So if we want to think about bots, we probably the most closer thing that we can think about comparing them to a concierge or an assistant, so a butler, something like that. So an entity that is there to assist us, to help us with something in particular. So it's always talking in natural language, trying to understand what we are saying and responding in some way. Of course, can communicate using text, but also can communicate using audio, maybe video in the future. Bots can also exchange multimedia content with users. For example, receiving some multimedia files, like, for example, a picture or a document or something like that, and acting over those assets and doing something with those documents, like storing a document or analyzing a photograph or something along those lines. And also, an agent can return some multimedia information to the users. Like, for example, a person looking for information about an article, the bot can provide not just the link for a catalog, a PDF file, but also can directly provide the content in the context of the chat session to the user to download it and open it in their in the computer. So in general, bots are focused on a specific task. In general, there are two different layers or levels of bots. One is that what we see that is happening with the personal agents, like things like Siri or Cortana or other personal assistants, personal digital assistants, and that's the first tier. The second tier is these bots that we are probably mentioning in this presentation, that they are more focused on a specific tasks. For example, a bot that's focused on ordering food, or a bot that is focus on customer support of a particular company. So in general, bots are more constrained to do some specific set of tasks and a limited amount of actions that they can perform. Of course, in the most cases, agents are going to be interacting with external systems to carry out these actions. For example, a bot that is taking an order of food or pizza, for example, or sushi. The bot is going to be interacting with the DRP software that actually uh, uh, do performs the execution of the request and performs all the other actions like the invoicing and the sending of the goods to the customers and all that. So the agent is orchestrating and communicating with all their existing systems and APIs and tools, coordinating the actions between those systems and their capabilities and the user. So in this particular demo, in this particular webinar, we are talking about integrating dynamic CRM with BOT framework. So as Heather previously said, this is a very powerful combination, and having the possibility to interact with the dynamic CRM through a conversational platform is very powerful. Is a big enabler to better experiences for users. So BOT framework in particular is an implementation of a framework, a set of tools and technologies from Microsoft to make easier the building of a bot using .NET platform or open source technology like Node.js and JavaScript. So if you want to get started with this, you have to go to the website. It's dev.botframework.com. There we have all the information you need to get started. All the documentation, samples, sample solutions and code, any other supported platforms and technologies. And of course, this is all free to use. There is no charge for using this infrastructure, and the main advantage of something like this is that you will focus on the logic of the bot that you have to implement without worrying too much over the logistics and the technical details about communicating or publishing your bot to different channels. So here we see so far the bot framework has support for building bot applications in C# using ASP.NET MVC. That's a framework that's open source as well. You can implement that using ASP.NET Core and run it on any platform, Windows or Linux. And also, you have the possibility to implement the bot using Node.js with all this very powerful and well-known platform and technologies and tools available for both of these options. And of course, these are the first two options, the first two supported platforms that have come out with this version. But implementing this solution with other with other platforms or technologies is also possible, because all of this is open source and very well documented based on standards. So there is no problem at all if you want to use other technology or platform. So the real advantage of using this bot framework is the connectors. So far, we have this list of connectors that allow us to publish our bot frame or bot agent to different providers of chat channels. For example, we have the possibility to support email communication, so sending or receiving emails from a web a bot. For example, we have other chat clients, being Skype, the most one of the most popular ones. But also we have Telegram, we have Slack, we have GroupMe, and of course we have SMS integration through some SMS providers like Twilio on Azure. But we can implement some others as well. So this is an open platform, and we can implement our own custom channels, and of course implement also a web channel and a direct channel to implement communication with some proprietary protocol or technology that we already have. Well, as I said, we have these two SDKs, one in C#, one in Node.js. Those SDKs are freely downloadable from the dev bot framework.com site, and all the packages and binaries for the SDK are also available in NuGet. So it's very easy to get started to create a new project. That's basically web server, web API, REST, HTTP server. So it's very simple to implement. So one of the things that also this framework provides is the capability of handling all the session management between the clients using a chat client and the bot application running. So all the sessions and communication and connection is all taken care by the bot framework that has a running infrastructure on the cloud, and all the communication between the channels and the bot framework to the application is all secure. It's all encrypted using HTTPS and using OAuth to authenticate the endpoints, so it's all very secure. One of the other important features that this framework has is the ability to define dialogues. So dialogues allow us to model conversations in a way that's reusable and also more scalable, Dialog state is also persisted in the session, so you don't have to take care about that. So if you are in the middle of the dialogue and the person disconnects and then reconnect, is going to pick up the conversation at the point where they have left before, and they can continue from that point. So these dialogues, you saw them. It's basically you can implement some standard prompts to ask for information about the user, like prompting for a yes/no response, prompting for some other data, a string, a number, different choices, and then also these have the form of showing that information in a very friendly manner to the user, in a kind of a form that has different buttons, and that, depending on the channel that you are using, allow us to press different buttons to exercise the option for the user, or just type the option that you want, for example, in the case of SMS. Of course, these dialogues can be enhanced by using all the intelligent services that we were talking about. For example, one of the most useful services for this kind of things is Luis, the language understanding intelligence services, part of the Microsoft Cognitive Services. That is a service that with very easy to use REST APIs allow you to parse text and extract some information, basically intent from a phrase that you have defined in a machine learning model. So it's very easy to use. It's very easy to train and to refine with users. So Luis is one of the many services that we can and we should probably integrate with this kind of intelligent agents that we are building. Other services from cognitive services include face recognition, speaker recognition, picture analysis, sentiment analysis, and many, many more. I am here showing the slide that is presenting just a small subset of the available services that we have in cognitive services. All different cloud providers are starting to think about more and more on these machine learning scenarios and exposing those machine learning scenarios through a defined set of APIs. So cognitive services is a little ahead of the curve on this, and they have already provided a very big and rich set of services that we can very easily reuse. They have a free layer, so you can develop your applications and start playing with all these services for free. And they have, of course, a very affordable price model to carry on. So I talk a little about Luis. This is the homepage of the service. It is basically a machine learning model that is about trying to predict what is the intent of the user that has typed a certain phrase. So the way it works is that you have to define one or more intents. In general, those intents will be verbs. For example, the user wants to buy, or the user wants to complain, or the user wants to I don't know, ask for information. So you define those intents that you want to detect, and then you associate different ways of communicating those intents through different phrases. And the system, the machine learning model is going to analyze those patterns, is going to train the model with those phrases, and is going to learn how to recognize all the different intents from the sample phrases that you provide. And then when you type a phrase that is somewhat similar in structure, um, you don't have to parse manually all the words and spaces and casing and all that. All the analysis on the text is done for you, and you get back the intent of the phrase that the person has typed or say, and also a level of confidence, and also you can define different variables that are going to be extracted from the phrase if you want to uh, get the subject that the person is talking about. So all of these services, like Luis, are coming from the cognitive services family. Um, and all of these, of course, is coming from Microsoft Research, all the investment that Microsoft is doing on research on these topics from many years now, and they're now having some um, results, very good results with this. Also, Bing has contributed a lot on building and refining all these models of language understanding. Um, Luis also has some pre-built models for um, text analysis that are pre-built for Cortana. So Cortana has a lot of different machine learning models that are pre-built and trained and proven, and they have very good results. So all those models for basic things like identifying common actions, or identifying common variables like entities or dates or things like that are going to be prepared. Um, Also, you can leverage existing information. For example, entities that you had already defined, like for example, customers or places or things like that. Of course, there is a lot of information about entities that are common knowledge, like I don't know, cities in the world, countries, uh, famous people, and many more entities that are common knowledge are already defined and ready to use. But you can add your own. Well, how this works in this big picture. Um, on the right side, we have their dynamic CRM instance that we have been using for this demo. Um, to the left, we have our bot application. It is our website that implementing the bot logic built using the bot framework. And in this particular case, is using an ESP.NET application. It's using the C# version of the SDK. And the bot framework communicates with our bot application through a secure channel. And the bot framework uh, is the one that performs the communication with the different channels. So our bot application does not know anything about how to connect to Skype or to Slack or tweet you with SMS. So all of those channels are handled by the bot framework platform, and the application just focus on the logic of the interactions with the customers, and also the integration that this bot application needs to perform to execute the actions that the user is requesting. For example, creating a case. So for that, the bot application is going to reach out to the Dynamic CRM REST API to create the case when the bot has finished the interaction and has all the information that needs to create the case. It's going to invoke a REST API and of the case number to the user. For this particular demo, we have implemented the Skype client and the web client. The web client is something that you can very easily embed in your web application anywhere in your website. You can just add an iframe, point to an URL with some special configurations to identify and authorize the endpoint, and you can have very easily a web chat for your bot implementation right on your website. And also you can add all the other channels as you want. Skype is very easy, but also you can add support for Facebook Messenger, and also, as I said before, Slack, SMS, Telegram, and many others. Well, I am wrapping up. So if you guys have any question, please you're free to ask them in the YouTube webpage. You have an option to ask a question there, and if we see any, we were happy to answer them.
Well, I think we are good to go here. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you in our next webinar.